Hey you, still obsessed with chasing that perfect loot drop in Diablo 4?
Oh, yeah.
Because if you are Season 8, it's about to throw a whole treasure chest of changes your way,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to dive deep into exactly what that means for how you'll be playing come April 29th.
That's right. Yeah, we've been looking over the official announcements for Season 8, and it's clear Blizzard is looking to shake up some core systems.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Right.
So in this deep dive, we're specifically going to dissect the brand new Battle Pass. They're calling it Reliquaries.
Reliquaries, okay.
Yeah, and the exciting additions of new, unique items and legendary aspects, stuff designed to give your builds a fresh jolt of power.
Okay, so let's start with how we're going to be, like, racking up those rewards. We've all been clicking through those, 90 tiers?
Yeah, 90 tier.
In the current Battle Pass. Some freebies, some behind the paywall, grabbing smoldering ashes for those Paragon boosts, and of course the cosmetic flare. It's been pretty linear, hasn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, the current system lays out a very specific path, like predetermined rewards at each step. But Season 8 is kind of hitting the reset button with these new reliquaries.
Hmm.
Think of it like moving from one long road to maybe a collection of specialized treasure maps.
Treasure maps, I like that. So what exactly are these reliquaries, and how do we get our hands on them?
Well, they're basically themed reward tracks you can unlock. There are 4 initial ones coming.
4.
The first is Belial's Return. And the great news is this one's completely free for everyone.
Oh, nice. Free's good.
Right. Completing it gets you a new town portal visual, some cool weapon and horse customizations, and as a bonus for finishing all its tiers, you get a pair of gloves. Part of this armor set called the Guise of the Deceiver.
Guise of the Deceiver. Okay,
Yeah.
free loot to kick things off. Definitely can't complain about that. What about the other reliquaries, then? What are we looking at, like, cost-wise and reward-wise?
Right, so the other 3, you need platinum for those. Diablo4's premium currency.
Mm-hmm.
First, there's the weapons reliquary. That one's 200 platinum. And as the name suggests, it's loaded with cosmetic appearances for weapons for every class.
Okay.
The bonus reward for finishing this one is the boots of that Guise of the Deceiver set.
Gotcha, the boots.
Next up is the Beasts reliquary. Costs 500 platinum. Focuses on mounts, mounts themselves, customizations, even a pet.
Ah, pet.
Finish this one, and you add the legs of the Guise of the Deceiver to your collection.
Okay, so gloves, boots, legs. What's next?
Finally, the armor reliquary. That'll cost you 800 platinum. Includes complete armor sets for each class, plus another unique town portal visual. And the bonus prize here, chest and helm, pieces of the Guise of the Deceiver armor.
So, okay, if you're dedicated, you can actually assemble the entire Guise of the Deceiver set by working through all these reliquaries. I think I saw some art for it. Blue and black, horns, golden claws. Very Diablo.
Yeah, it's a very distinct look. Thematic for sure.
Yeah.
And for players who want it all, like, right away, there's also a deluxe bundle.
Ah, of course. How much?
2,800 platinum. This instantly unlocks the full Guise of the Deceiver armor, set for every class. Plus, you get some unique Deceiver's final form wings, the Ornocked Owl Pet, and immediate access to the weapons, beasts, and armor reliquaries.
Wow, okay, that's the full package then. So that covers what we can get, but I think you mentioned there's a fundamental change in how we actually claim these rewards. It's not just following that linear path anymore, is it?
No, and this is a really interesting shift, I think. With reliquaries, you earn these things called favor tokens.
Oh, favorite tokens, guy.
Just by playing the game and killing monsters, completing quests, the stuff you're already doing.
Right.
The key difference is you can then spend these tokens to claim rewards in any order you want within a specific reliquary.
Any order, really?
Yeah, so if you see like that specific weapon transmog halfway down the track that you really want, you can save up your tokens and grab that first. It gives you way more agency over your reward progression.
Okay, that sounds fantastic, like a real quality of life upgrade. No more grinding through like dozens of tiers for that one thing you actually want.
Exactly. Much more flexible.
Now, I also heard whispers. Limit time reliquaries? Is that a thing?
Yes, that's another layer here. For special in-game events and collaborations like that upcoming Berserk crossover they announced,
Oh, yeah.
there will be unique, limited-time reliquaries. So this kind of suggests we might see some really specific, maybe thematic rewards tied to those events. Gives you a reason to jump in while they're active.
Interesting. Keeps things fresh. Okay, so the Battle Pass is getting a total makeover. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about the real meat and potatoes for a lot of players. The gear. Uniques, legendary aspects. That's what fuels our builds, right? keeps us grinding. What new stuff is coming in Season 8?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting a fresh batch, 6 new unique items, one tailored for each class,
One for each. Nice.
and a brand new offensive legendary aspect for every class as well. These could potentially, significantly alter existing builds or maybe even pave the way for totally new playstyles.
All right, bring on the details. Let's start with the barbarians. What new toys are they getting to smash stuff with?
Okay, barbarians get the Bane of Ajaden, unique gloves.
Bane of Ajaden. Okay.
These gloves give you ranks to mighty throw, a big boost to crit damage, more fury per second, and some cooldown reduction. All solid stats. But the unique power is the cool part. Every 12 seconds, your next mighty throw instantly detonates all its pulses as fire damage and deals like 400 to 600% increased damage.
Whoa. Instant fiery detonations.
Yeah, and their new offensive legendary aspect of delayed extinction. This one's interesting. It changes how Mighty Throw and Steel Grasp scale with cooldown reduction. Instead of just reducing the cooldown, CDR now gives them multiplicative damage.
Multiplicative damage from CDR.
Right. Plus another damage multiplier on top, like 125 to 250%. So stacking CDR actually becomes a huge damage boost for those skills.
Wow, okay. Barbs who like throwing things are going to have a field day with that. What about the shapeshifters, the druids?
Druids get Gathlin's Birthright, a unique helm.
Gathlin's Birthright. Got it.
It has an inherent effect.
Right.
While you have Animal of the Forest active, you get 15% attack speed. Plus, it gives willpower, armor, ranks to humanity, and movement speed in human form.
Okay, standard buffs. What's the unique power?
The power is, while you're in human form, if you land enough critical strikes with nature magic skills, you get that Anima of the Forest buff for 15 seconds. And while you have Anima of the Forest, you automatically gain the benefits of both the Perfect Storm and Earth and Might key passives.
Both at the same time?
Both at the same time. It's like getting 2 powerful passes for free, basically, if you meet the condition.
That sounds incredibly strong. Very versatile.
Yeah, essentially. And their new offensive aspect is Aspect of Impending Deluge. It makes Stormstrike Chain to twice as many targets.
Oh, wow.
And those targets take 30 to 50% increased damage from your other skills for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Could really boost the druid's AoE.
Yeah, doubling chains and adding a damage debuff. Nice. Okay, necromancers. Masters of the Undead. What dark magic enhancements are coming their way?
Necros get Sanquiver, Blade of Zur. It's a unique 2-hand sword.
Sanquiver. Okay. Big sword.
Yep. Inherent boost to summoning damage. Chance for Army of the Dead to deal double damage. Plus intelligence, max life, and ranks to all the minion masteries, warriors, mages, golem.
Boosting the whole army.
Right. And the unique power is pretty thematic. Your summons damage now applies Vampiric Curse.
Vampiric Curse.
And consuming a corpse adds a soul to this curse, stacking up to 20 souls now. Then, when you use Army of the Dead, it unleashes all those souls. And both the army and the souls deal increased damage, like 15-25% for each soul unleashed.
Okay, so you're building up souls with summons and corpses, then blasting with Army of the Dead. That sounds cool.
Yeah, nice little minion synergy loop there.
Yeah.
Their new offensive aspect is Aspect of Service and Sacrifice. This one makes your skeleton warriors explode on death for physical damage.
Exploding skeletons.
Classic. But there's a catch. They lose 25% health per second while in combat. So they're basically ticking time bombs.
Okay. Risk reward.
Exactly. But on the flip side, your skeleton mages take 90% reduced damage and deal 50-100% increased damage.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's pushing maybe a more aggressive, explosive warrior setup, but making mages much tankier and stronger.
Interesting trade-off. Exploding skeletons with a health drain. Very necro. All right, rogues. What trickery awaits them?
Rogues get the Band of Icarus Rose, unique gloves.
Icarus Rose. Sounds poisonous.
You guessed it. Inherently increases your max poison traps. Plus attack speed, poison resistances, and a chance for Poison Trap to cast twice.
Okay, doubling down on traps.
Yeah, and the unique power really buffs Poison Trap. It always deals its full damage over 3 seconds now. It benefits from all its upgrades, and those upgrades are boosted by 50-100%.
Whoa.
Plus, Poison Trap now benefits from combo points, has no cooldown during Inner Sight, and gets its cooldown reduced by Preparation. It's like Poison Trap becomes this central powerhouse skill.
Man, they really went all in on Poison Trap there.
Seems like it. And their new offensive aspect is Aspect of Contamination.
Yeah.
It makes Poison Trap burst for extra poison damage when it triggers.
War damage.
Yep. And if that burst critically strikes, you deal 20-40% increased poison damage for 5 seconds after. So, yeah, it looks like Poison Trap rogues are getting a serious boost.
Definitely sounds like rogues will be setting some seriously deadly traps. Okay, Elemental Master Sorcerers. What fire and ice or lightning goodies are they getting?
Sorcerers get Hail of Urglass, a unique helm.
Hail of Urglass. Okay.
Use cold resistance, max cold resistance, intelligence, max life, attack speed, and ranks in ice shards.
Ice shards focus, got it.
And the unique power alters ice shards. Makes it fire 2 additional shards each cast.
More shards.
More shards. Plus, for a few seconds after ice shards damages an enemy, you deal increased damage based on how many times it hit them, stacking up to a pretty hefty 50-75% bonus damage.
So hitting multiple times with the extra shards ramps up your damage.
Exactly. Rewards hitting consistently. Their new offensive aspect is the shivering aspect. Increases damage enemies take based on how chilled or staggered they are.
Uh-huh. More damage to controlled enemies.
Right. And your skills apply 15% more chill on top of that, making it easier to get them chilled and maximize that damage bonus. So, seems like they're leaning into the cold control fantasy.
Yeah, more ice shards, damage scaling with chill. Sounds like classic Sorc amplified. Okay, finally, the new kid on the block, the Spiritborn. What can they expect?
Spiritborn get the Sunbird's Gorget, a unique amulet.
Sunbird's Gorget.
Inherently gives a big chunk of resistance to all elements, plus movement speed and ranks to potent, furnace, and acceleration skills.
Nice defensive and utility stats. What's the power?
The power ties into their Storm Feathers mechanic. Picking up a Storm Feather creates a firestorm around you for 8 seconds. Deals fire damage every half second.
A firestorm aura. Cool.
Yeah, and here's the twist. Every 5 additional Storm Feathers you pick up while the firestorm is active, it intensifies the firestorm, increasing its damage by 100%, but it doesn't refresh the duration.
Oh, so you want to keep grabbing feathers quickly to ramp up the damage before it expires?
Exactly. Seems like a very active playstyle reward.
Okay.
Oh, and Storm Feathers are now counted as Jaguar skills, and the Firestorm counts as Eagle, Jaguar, and Storm Feather skill for synergy purposes.
Okay, lots of tags there.
And their new offensive aspect is the Rip and Tear aspect, boosts rushing claw damage. But it also adds effects based on how many charges you have when you cast it.
Charges matter. How?
1 charge, it heals you. 2 charges, guaranteed overpower. 3 charges, guaranteed crit strike. 4 more charges, it strikes an extra time.
Whoa. So you really want to manage those charges for maximum impact. Heal, overpower, crit, extra hit. That's quite a toolkit just based on charges.
Yeah, it seems to really reward careful resource management for the Spiritborn.
Man, that Spiritborn amulet and aspects sound incredibly dynamic. Really pushing players to master the timing and charges. It's clear these new uniques and aspects could really shake up the meta, lead to some exciting new builds.
Absolutely. They seem targeted, enhancing some established styles, but also maybe opening up entirely new ways to play each class.
Yeah.
It'll be fascinating to see what the community comes up with.
Yeah, theory crafting must be going nuts already. Speaking of shaking things up, though, Season 8 is also bringing a pretty big change in how Blizzard handles game balance, right? Especially for builds that are, well, performing a little too well.
Yes, this is a pretty notable shift in their approach. A big one, actually. In the past, we've often seen major balance changes, Nerfs mostly, rolled out mid-season.
Yeah, sometimes weeks in.
Exactly. But for Season 8, the developers have announced they're taking a much more proactive stance. They're aiming to nerf the most clearly overpowered builds within the first week or so of the season launch.
First week? Wow. That's fast. What's the thinking behind that shift?
Well, according to lead live game designer Colin Feiner, waiting until mid-season to fix these really obvious outliers, he could feel like a big disrespect to the player's time, was his phrasing.
I can see that.
The core idea is, stop players from investing tons of time and resources into a build that's clearly broken, only to have it kneecapped weeks later.
Right.
They still want powerful builds, obviously, but they're aiming for better overall balance, so the game's difficulty isn't just completely trivialized by 1 or 2 specific setups. They even mentioned the Necro Bloodwave build from a previous season as an example of something they felt was just too dominant.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It is frustrating to grind for a build and then have it nerfed into the ground after you've invested all that time. This more immediate approach could definitely be better for player morale, maybe encourage more build diversity right from the start.
Potentially, yeah.
And this ties into the overall difficulty for Season 8 too, doesn't it? I remember hearing about that.
Precisely. Blizzard has indicated before that Season 8 is meant to be a more challenging experience overall compared to, say, Season 7.
Right, people were hitting max levels super fast.
Yeah, that feedback came through, that players were hitting max level and peak power maybe too quickly. So these early adjustments to the super strong builds are likely part of that broader strategy, create a more balanced, engaging endgame right from day one.
Okay, so let's quickly recap the big stuff heading our way in Diablo 4 Season 8, launching April 29th. We're getting a totally revamped battle pass the reliquaries, giving us way more control over
Yep,
rewards.
much more flexible.
We're also seeing a big influx of new class-specific uniques and offensive legendary aspects. We'll see a ton of new build possibilities there.
For sure. Lots to experiment with.
And finally, Blizzard's changing their balance philosophy. More aggressive nerfs early in the season for those outlier builds, aiming for better balance and respecting player time.
That's the plan, yeah. A healthier game environment.
It definitely sounds like a season packed with some really impactful changes.
Absolutely. I mean, these updates touch on really fundamental parts of the Diablo 4 loop, how we get rewards, how we customize our characters. It'll be really interesting to see how the community reacts and how it all shapes the game in Season 8.
Yeah, definitely. So for you out there listening, with this new way to earn rewards and all these cool new items and aspects, how are you planning to tackle Season 8? Which of these new uniques or aspects immediately jumped out at you? Sparked any build ideas? And with this promise of early balance changes, how do you think the overall meta, the landscape of Diablo 4 might evolve? What kind of character are you going to be dusting off or maybe creating fresh when Season 8 drops on April 29th?
Lots to think about.
The theory crafting has officially begun.